Hi, welcome to the first of a series of short videos on using the new CustomNPC system that's in this version of our server rule. Using the new system's pretty straightforward once you get used to it. It's all manipulated through GUI windows, which is nice, but there's a lot of options. So the first thing with the new NPCs is the tool that's used to manipulate them. It's this tool here called an NPC wand. So if you have one of those, you use left and right click to manipulate NPCs. So to create a new NPC using custom NPCs, just look at the ground where you want it and right click. And that'll pull up the first of your options windows here. So in here you can enter the name for the NPC. I'll just call this guy Bob because we can. Whether to show or hide his name tag or show the name tag when attacking. Model, you can change the model to a whole bunch of different options here. These are basically all the different kind of creatures you can do for the NPCs. In this case, we'll just keep them as a human male. Then when you hit select, it closes the window and goes back out. You can just right click on him again to bring this up. And apparently reset his name. Let's make sure. There we go. So now his name's Bob. Texture, this is which texture he uses. You can hit select. And these are all the human male textures available. Let's go Gangster Steve, King. In this case, let's just do Bodyguard Steve in his suit. And if we close X, there we go. So there's our new bodyguard in his suit and sunglasses. So basic manipulation of the NPCs on stats. A lot of these are self-explanatory. You can change them around to change the behavior of your NPCs. Melee options changes the different options for melee attacks, different options for ranged attacks. You can change which sound effects they use when they do a ranged attack. Just hit select. You have to go up a few folders, and you want custom NPCs, and then these are your different available sounds. So in this case, just go gun. Sure, we'll still this guy use it. You can hit play, and that'll play the different sounds. If you don't want any sound, you can just backspace that out and get rid of the sound altogether. You can set up the different resistances, the walking speed, immunities. Like I said, most of this stuff's pretty self-explanatory. AI sets the NPC's AI behavior and how they'll react given different situations. Movement, this is where you can change their kind of default moving behavior. You can have them wandering around and just change the range that they'll wander around in. You can change their animation. You can set them up to move on a path. I'll go over that a little later, either in this video or in another one. For now, we're just going to do standing. Position offsets are useful if you want to make it look like they're sitting down somewhere. Because you can do manual rotations or stalking head. Just modify around all these settings. You can feel free to play around with them to see what they all do. You can have them lying down on a bed. Now let's put them back to standing. Inventory, this is where you can change your NPC inventory. You can give them armor and weapons. Note that pretty much anything you do in here is cosmetic. It's actually not going to change any of their attack stats or anything. That's all done through the stats options. If you want them to use a ranged attack, you have to give them both a ranged weapon and ranged ammo. So you can go bows and arrows. So for example, if you just give them a bow there but no ammo, ranged attack won't work. So you have to give them ammo. They don't actually reduce, so you could, in theory, just give them one arrow and you'd be fine. But they do have to have something in there. For melee attacks, they'll just attack melee with whatever's available. These here you can set if you want them to drop certain things. So I don't know if you want this guy to drop an apple. You can change what the chances of it dropping if they die. and the amount of XP orbs that it will or will not drop when it dies. These will be useful to use with our skill tree system, which is still in progress. Advanced is where you can set up what they say, different dialogues, the roles. So you can have them set up as a trader. I'll go over these in more detail a little later. Follower, bank, transporter, mailman, or no role. The most basic ones you're probably going to want are guard. And this is where you just have, so if you say attack monsters, you'll attack the monsters. Item giver, you can have them give you items. Boss, this one's still kind of being edited, and it's in development. Haven't really played around with that too much. Spawner, I haven't been able to get that one to work properly. In theory, this should allow, say, for example, one NPC to spawn a posse. Might be useful for if you're setting up a custom mob for a quest. Conversation. These are for audio conversations or just continued delivering of lines. Again, most of the stuff to set up is pretty self-explanatory. You can go line by line, set up delays. You can have these NPCs give you quests, but we should probably use the quester system for that just because it's significantly more versatile. You can also change when these things are available. So that's after dialogue. So after or before a dialogue. You can change the times of day, different conversations are available. You can play with these. Personally, I don't actually use them too much because the other dialogue system is a little more robust for conversations. And then if you don't want them to have any job, you can just go back to no job. Lines. These here are just basic one-liners that he'll say. So interact lines, you say hello player. You go, good day to you. You can also select sound files if any are available. At the moment, there's not really any sound files in here other than the defaults. When you highlight sound file, I can't play.
For honor and glory.
That was actually really kind of creepy. So let's not do that. Anyway, so you can have them play custom sounds. If you want to add custom sounds file, they currently have to actually go within the NPC, or sorry, the customs NPC jar file that runs on the server. So if you want to add any of those, let me know, and then we'll probably just roll out new versions of it frequently. But now we add those two lines. For example, if we exit that and we go to interact, it'll randomly say one of those lines. Then you can change, the lines they'll say when they attack, or I'm not sure what world lines do. I should probably read some of the documentation on this. Same with sounds. You can, again, add some custom sounds if you want, if any are available. Like I said, you can take a few, or take a look and see what's in here. There's really not much. Again, we can add some later if we want to. Dialogues, this one here is where you add interactive conversations. And I'll go over that in a different video because it's a rather extensive system. You can add numerous conversations here, so you can actually have 11 different dialogues for your NPCs. This X clears it, so if you just select a random one or something, you can hit X and I'll just clear it. Global, this is where we edit global faction data. For the most part, don't mess with any of this stuff. Excuse me, you might want to set up some factions if you're doing custom quest stuff. I recommend you read the manual for customs NPCs if you're going to mess with any of this stuff, or talk to me first just to make sure that we don't end up with NPCs randomly attacking people they shouldn't, because that would be a mess that would not be fun to clean. So that's the really basics, excuse me, of just adding an NPC in. And I'll go more into depth in some of the other videos.